Michael Jordan is what in the finals? 6 and what?
Oh.
And what is LeBron in the finals? That's all I got to say.
January 16th, 1993, still your rookie year. You guys are in Chicago playing the Bulls. It's a big moment. These are the defending champs, back-to-back champs.
Hip it in, puts it up in, out of deep foul. Mike, quick turnaround and he hit it.
I remember that Mike is killing us, but we're close. You know, when you see the light at the end of the tunnel, we go for it. Damn, I'm about to beat Michael Jordan.
Shaq's done staying quiet. He's fed up with LeBron and KD throwing shade at MJ, and this time, he's firing back loud and clear. The basketball world can't stop talking about it. Shaq's savage call-out just flipped the whole GOAT debate upside down. Is this the final word on who really runs basketball history? Let's dive in. Shaq's breaking it down to one major point, the fear factor. And he's making it clear why, in his mind, there's absolutely no debate. You see, what makes the NBA's endless? Who's the greatest of all time argument so wild isn't the numbers, the rings, or even those flashy highlights that flood social media every day. What really makes it crazy is when someone who's actually been in the trenches, someone who's gone toe-to-toe with these legends, steps up and speaks the truth. And when that someone just happens to be a 4-time NBA champion, a Hall of Famer, and one of the most unstoppable forces the game has ever seen, you know people better start paying attention.
I'm studying him because I want what he has. Studying how the refs treat him. I'm studying how he's talking to his teammates and they respond. I'm studying his relationship with him and Phil Jackson. I'm studying how the opponents look at him and fear him and all that. I definitely want that. He was the best in the game and I wanted his spot.
Shaquille O'Neal isn't just another voice chasing clicks or headlines. Nah, this man lived it. He faced off against Michael Jordan in 21 intense NBA battles, including playoff showdowns that shaped both of their careers forever. Shaq wasn't just watching greatness, he was battling it. The man averaged 25 points and 14 rebounds a game against Michael Jordan. That's going head-to-head with the guy many say is the best to ever touch a basketball. And when Shaq talks about this topic, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He's straight up, no filter, and he doesn't care if his words shake the whole basketball world. So, what does Shaquille O'Neal really think about the never-ending debate between Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant? According to the Big Diesel himself, there's actually not much to argue about at all. In a 2024 episode of the Big Podcast, Shaq dropped what might be the most powerful statement ever made about why MJ still owns that GOAT crown. And surprisingly, it's not about rings, stats, or trophies. Shaq pointed to something way deeper, something you'll never find on a box score. He said it comes down to fear. Shaq said, "I've heard players say, including myself, I feared Mike."
I did pretty much everything that MJ did when I was a kid. I shot fadeaways before I should have. I wore a leg sleeve on my leg and folded it down so you saw the red part.
For no reason.
I wore black and red shoes with white socks. I wore short shorts so you could see my undershorts underneath. But I did everything Mike did, man. I wanted to be Mike.
I've heard players in your generation say, I feared Kobe. I never really heard any players say they feared LeBron. Now, let that hit you for a second. Shaquille O'Neal, a 7'1", 300-pound monster who used to bully defenders for fun, openly admitted that he was terrified of Michael Jordan. Not just intimidated, not just respectful, terrified. That's coming from one of the strongest, most dominant forces in NBA history. And when someone like Shaq says that, it's not just another opinion. It's a statement that cuts deeper than any stat line ever could. Fear like that can't be measured, but it sure tells you who the real alpha was on that court. Go for it. Damn, I'm about to beat Michael Jordan. That was the fire running through young Shaq's mind back in his rookie season. And that January 16, 1993 matchup turned out to be legendary. Jordan went nuclear that night, dropping a jaw-dropping 64 points and 5 steals, putting on an absolute clinic. But even with MJ going off like that, it was Shaq's monster performance. 29 points and 24 rebounds that powered Orlando to a wild 128-124 overtime win. That game was more than just a battle. It was a statement. It showed the world what young Shaquille O'Neal could do, but it also reminded everyone why Michael Jordan was the most dangerous man to ever step on a court. Every move Jordan made that night screamed greatness, and Shaq never forgot it. But what truly sealed Shaq's respect for MJ didn't happen on the court. It happened decades later.
Before the game, I was terrified, but to relieve pressure of that, I ain't got to guard him, so I'm not worried. Second thing I said, I can't let him dunk on me. That's not going to happen. So it was a play when he comes baseline, I had to touch him up. It was one I'm not getting dunked on because I'll never live that down from family members, homeboys, barbershops. That'll be a poster forever because Mike was the man at the time. But Mike also taught me something very valuable. So when I go to help him up, he said, don't ever help nobody up. Great foul. Don't do that. I don't need your help. But I'm coming back. Don't you worry. Mike is the guy that taught me how to go to the next level.
In 2020, when The Last Dance documentary dropped, the world finally got a peek into what made Jordan different. The obsession, the killer drive, the leadership that never cracked under pressure. And after watching it, Shaq went on the Dan Patrick Show and made his stance loud and clear. He said that documentary proved it. Michael Jordan will always be the GOAT. Shaq praised MJ's perfect 6-0 finals record and his unmatched ability to lead men through chaos like nobody else could. And here's the kicker. Shaq's case is hard to argue with. When you break down the numbers, Jordan's stats straight up dwarf what LeBron and KD have combined in several key areas. Jordan won 10 scoring titles, 10. LeBron and Durant together, only 5. MJ also earned 9 all-defensive first-team selections, a level of dominance neither LeBron nor KD have ever touched. 5 combined, with Durant having 0. That stat alone says a lot, but it gets even deeper. In a 2024 survey of current NBA players, 46% voted Michael Jordan as the GOAT, while LeBron came in right behind at 42%. Some folks look at that shrinking gap and think, maybe the throne's about to change hands. But Shaq says, not so fast. Here's the thing. Those who actually saw MJ dominate in real time, the ones who felt that fear factor up close, are slowly disappearing from the league. The new generation? They didn't watch Jordan torch the Celtics for 63 points in the playoffs, or see him shrug mid-game after draining 6 straight threes in one half of the finals. They've only heard the stories. They didn't live the legend. But Shaq? He remembers everything. He was there. He felt it. And he's not letting anyone forget what made Michael Jordan different from every player before or after. He once said, "I'm studying him because I want what he has." That quote alone says it all. It sums up exactly what MJ meant to his peers. Pure dominance, pure influence, and pure obsession. Imagine that. Shaquille O'Neal, one of the most unstoppable forces in NBA history, admitting he studied Jordan like a student watching a master in motion. Shaq paid attention to everything: how refs gave Jordan respect, how teammates followed his every move, and how opponents froze the moment he locked in. He didn't just admire Jordan, he analyzed him, trying to understand the secret sauce behind that relentless greatness. And in a 2025 episode of the Straight Game podcast, Shaq made it clear. He wanted to channel that same intensity, that same aura that made MJ untouchable. Because when Shaq talks about Jordan, it's not nostalgia, it's reverence. And he's daring everyone to remember what real greatness looks like. Shaq's been straight up about it. He's tired of people jumping from Michael Jordan straight to LeBron James in the GOAT talk, like Kobe Bryant never existed. That frustration runs deep because in Shaq's eyes, Kobe earned his spot in that conversation. But even when he goes hard defending his former teammate, Shaq always lands in the same place. Michael Jordan still sits alone at the top, and everyone else is just battling for second place. But that's only half of Shaq's fire, because if his love for MJ shows one side of the GOAT coin, his take on Kevin Durant shows the other. And it's as raw as it gets. When Shaq decides to break down someone's case for greatness, there's no filter, no soft talk, no worrying about who might get offended. He speaks his truth, loud and uncut. Now let's be real. By almost every stat you can name, Kevin Durant is a flat-out legend. 2 NBA championships, 2 finals MVPs, 1 regular season MVP, and 4 scoring titles. His career numbers: 27.3 points, 7 rebounds, and 4.4 assists per game are elite. Plus, standing 7 feet tall with guard-like handles, KD has become one of the most unguardable scorers this game has ever seen. But here's where Shaq flips the table. According to him, none of that matters when we're talking about the GOAT. He's not denying KD's skills, but in Shaq's eyes, greatness isn't just about stats, trophies, or smooth handles. It's about dominance, fear, and presence. And that's the part he believes KD just doesn't bring. Shaq's message is bold and brutal. There's a difference between being great and being the greatest. And in his mind, Kevin Durant, for all his talent, is nowhere near Michael Jordan's mountain. Why? Shaq says it all comes down to one cold, crushing truth. A line he dropped in a 2024 interview that shook the basketball world. He said, "You have to drive the bus. Kevin Durant is a great player, but he rode the bus." Those 8 words hit harder than any dunk. They've become the most ruthless summary of KD's legacy in the whole GOAT debate. And here's the sting for KD's supporters. It's almost impossible to argue against once you look at the facts. Let's rewind to July 2016. Kevin Durant made the move that changed everything, and not in a good way for his reputation. After blowing a 3-1 lead to the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, KD shocked everyone by joining the very same team that had just beaten him. That wasn't just any squad either. They were coming off a record-breaking 73-win season, the most in NBA history. Durant walked into a locker room already stacked with firepower: Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, 3 All-Stars who had already proven they could win it all without him. Sure, when KD joined, the Warriors became unstoppable, snagging back-to-back titles in 2017 and 2018, with Durant taking home Finals MVP honors both years. On paper, it looked legendary. But in Shaq's eyes, those rings come with an asterisk the size of Oracle Arena. He's not impressed by trophies won on a team that was already a dynasty before KD got there. To Shaq, Durant didn't build that team. He just joined it. He didn't fight through the grind of carrying a franchise through the storms, facing the setbacks, and leading them to glory. Shaq's message hits like a punch. Being great is one thing, but being the one who drives the bus? That's what separates legends from passengers. And in his book, Kevin Durant never took the wheel. Shaq didn't sugarcoat it. Durant didn't build anything. He just hopped on an already loaded super team and collected the rewards. And when you stack that up next to how Shaq views the championship paths of Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant, the difference is massive. Michael Jordan? He had to claw his way past the ruthless Detroit Pistons bad boys defense year after year before finally breaking through. He didn't run from the challenge. He owned it. He was the undisputed leader of those Chicago Bulls squads, the alpha, the heartbeat, the guy the whole franchise revolved around. LeBron James? Sure, he caught heat for teaming up with Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami, but even then, he was the man. Every championship run with the Heat began and ended with LeBron setting the tone, leading the charge, and proving he was the engine driving that machine. And Kobe Bryant? Even during his championship years alongside Shaq in LA, you could already see it. Kobe was rising fast. He wasn't content being anyone's sidekick, and he was hungry, relentless, and evolving into the driving force of that Lakers dynasty. Now compare all that to Kevin Durant. According to Shaq, KD wasn't leading the Warriors. He was riding along. By many accounts, he was the 3rd most impactful player on that team, sitting behind Stephen Curry and maybe even Draymond Green when it came to leadership and influence. Shaq sees Durant as an insanely talented passenger on a bus that was already flying toward a championship destination before he ever stepped on board. And in 2025 interviews, Shaq didn't back down, not one bit. He doubled down, flat out saying that the GOAT conversation only has 3 names that matter: Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant. Once again, Kevin Durant's name was nowhere to be found, no matter how impressive his personal stats might look. And when you really listen to Shaq break it down, when you understand his definition of greatness, it all starts to click. For him, being great isn't just about stats, trophies, or highlight reels. It's about leadership, heart, and building your own legacy from the ground up. That's why Kevin Durant's absence from Shaq's GOAT list suddenly makes perfect sense. A fiery exchange on First Take showed exactly how no-nonsense Shaq is when it comes to the GOAT debate. While analysts sit around tossing advanced stats and complex metrics like confetti, Shaq slices through all that noise with one simple question: what did you accomplish when it mattered most? Let's look at the numbers the way Shaq sees them. Jordan? 6-0 in the finals. Absolute perfection. LeBron? 4-6. Still impressive, but not flawless. And Durant? 2-1. But those two wins come with a massive, flashing asterisk attached to both. Now, some people say Shaq's being too harsh on KD. That context matters. After all, LeBron went up against those stacked, Durant-led Warriors teams more than once, and KD's decision to join them might have cost LeBron a couple more titles. But that's exactly where Shaq doubles down. In his eyes, Durant made a choice. He chose to join, not to build. He decided that chasing easy rings mattered more than carving his own path to glory. And for Shaq, that move changes everything. Because true greatness, in his book, isn't about how many titles you collect. It's about how you earn them. Shaq's verdict is crystal clear. Kevin Durant picked the path of least resistance, and that single decision keeps him locked out of basketball's most sacred space, the mountaintop of immortality. Even Kevin Durant himself has sometimes brushed off direct comparisons between him, Jordan, and LeBron, giving both their flowers and calling them unique legends who shaped the game in totally different ways. Maybe deep down, Durant already knows the truth, that his championship story will always be seen differently from those who came before him. Maybe he's made peace with it, that no matter how elite his stats look or how smooth his game is, his legacy will always carry the weight of that one move in 2016 when he decided to join the Warriors instead of beating them. That choice follows him everywhere, like a shadow that never fades. Meanwhile, Shake's been shaking up the GOAT talk again. In 2025, he threw another curveball by adding Stephen Curry into the conversation, right alongside MJ, LeBron, and Kobe. Shaq said Curry absolutely deserves to be there because of his transformative impact on basketball. From his shooting range to how he changed team strategy forever, Curry rewrote the rulebook. And the irony? Oh, it's thick. Shaq is giving Curry the GOAT nod, the very player Durant teamed up with in Golden State, while leaving Durant out of the conversation completely. The same partnership that gave KD his rings is now the very reason Shaq won't rank him among the legends. It's a harsh take, but one thing about Shaq, he's consistent. He values authenticity, grit, and self-made greatness. He respects the players who built their empires, not the ones who joined someone else's. In Shaq's eyes, the real GOATs are the ones who had to scratch, grind, and fight their way to the top, not link up with the very obstacle standing in their way. And by that standard, Kevin Durant just doesn't make the cut, plain and simple. Even LeBron James seems to know it. In fact, some of the strongest support for Shaq's take doesn't even come from Shaq himself. It comes from the man who's always been considered Michael Jordan's biggest challenger in the GOAT debate. Because if you really want to understand why the argument still leans in MJ's favor, all you have to do is listen to LeBron. Since stepping into the league as an 18-year-old prodigy in 2003, LeBron has been living under the constant shadow of comparison to Jordan. The hype was unreal, the expectations through the roof, and the pressure? Off the charts. Every move he made, every championship chase, every playoff loss. People compared it all to Jordan's legacy. And yet, through all of that, LeBron has never once backed away from giving Jordan his full respect. Time and time again, he said it. MJ set the standard. He's made it clear that the bar was raised long before he ever touched an NBA court. Their first encounter goes all the way back to 2001, when LeBron was just 16 years old, still in high school, and already the most hyped young player in America. Meeting Jordan wasn't just exciting for him. It was like standing face to face with the myth, the legend, the man who defined basketball greatness itself. Even with all his success, all his records, and all his championships, LeBron still tips his hat to MJ, and that says it all. Because when the guy who's closest to catching the GOAT admits he's still chasing him, you know, Jordan's throne remains untouched. That first meeting between LeBron and Jordan wasn't just a passing moment. It was symbolic. It marked the torch being seen, not necessarily passed. From that day on, LeBron carried that image of MJ with him. The drive, the mentality, the obsession with perfection. And no matter how many milestones LeBron has reached since, even he knows the name at the top still belongs to Michael Jordan. Shaq's been loud about it, and he's not backing down. Leadership, fear, and authenticity are what separate the good from the legendary. Jordan didn't just win, he changed the entire culture of the game. That's why Shaq calls him the one and only GOAT, while everyone else, no matter how talented, is just climbing the mountain he built. So where do you stand in the debate? Is Shaq right about MJ being untouchable? Or has LeBron, or maybe even someone like Curry, earned a real shot at that crown? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you're loving the breakdowns, and don't forget to subscribe for more wild takes and deep dives into the biggest basketball debates out there. See you in the next one.